You know, every now and then, a story pops up that's just so bizarre, so unbelievable, it sounds like something straight out of a movie. This is one of those stories. It connects a mysterious 7th century book of prophecy to the absolute highest levels of modern politics and, get this, a viral cartoon. So how on earth do those three things connect? Let's get into it.
It all kicks off with this single sentence, a really cryptic warning about betrayal, a prophecy that some soldier with a bow is going to take down a powerful leader. Now, you're probably thinking, this sounds like it was dug up from some ancient dusty scroll, right?
Well, that's the first twist. This line, which has been setting the internet on fire, isn't from an ancient book at all. Nope, it's from a massively popular and, you can bet, a highly controversial animated satire. And that right there is where this whole thing really gets started.
Okay, so first up, let's talk about this cartoon. It's called Winnie's Endgame, and it's become this huge phenomenon, mainly because it goes places and talks about things that are usually, well, completely off limits. The whole plot is basically a political thriller. You've got this group of officials who are fed up, and they start plotting against their leader, who they call Winnie. But a huge part of the story is the leader's own growing paranoia. He's obsessed with whispers of an ancient prophecy that says his reign is going to end, all at the hands of this soldier with a bow.
So here's the thing. The cartoon didn't just pull this prophecy out of thin air. It actually taps into a very real, very old text that has a long and, frankly, controversial history in China. So that leads to the big question. What is this book, and what does the real prophecy actually say?
And that brings us to the source material itself. We're about to dive into this legendary Chinese book of prophecy called the Tui Bei Tu. We're going to try to unpack these ancient lines and see exactly how they're being read today.
So, first things first, what is the Tui Bei Tu? Okay, imagine a book written more than 1,300 years ago. It's filled with 60 super cryptic poems and drawings, and each one supposedly predicts a major event in China's future. I mean, this book has been banned by emperors, passed around in secret. Some people even call it China's own Book of Revelation.
All right, so the specific line that's causing all this buzz comes from the 46th image or hexagram in the book. It kicks off with this phrase, "There's a soldier with a bow." Now, by itself, that's pretty vague, but online sleuths believe it's actually some really clever wordplay.
And this is the linguistic puzzle at the very heart of the whole thing. So check this out. The Chinese character for the really common surname Zhong is made up of two other characters. One means bow, and the other means leader. So, a soldier with a bow isn't just a description, it's being interpreted as a direct pointer to a military leader named Zhong.
But wait, it doesn't stop there. The prophecy keeps going, and the next line is even weirder. He only says, "I am a white-haired old man." Okay, so again, on the surface, it just sounds like a simple description. But just like before, interpreters are convinced there's another hidden meaning packed in there.
And this is where the wordplay gets really, really deep. The character for old man can also mean father. And the characters for white head, well, they happen to make up the top part of the character for emperor. So you put it all together and you get father of the emperor. This points to a specific historical role, the Grand Emperor. Basically, a powerful figure who officially retires but is still pulling all the strings from behind the curtain.
You see, this isn't just random fortune cookie stuff. The Tui Bei Tu is part of a really complex philosophical system, one that goes back thousands of years and was seen as a legitimate way to understand and even predict the future.
The Tui Bei Tu didn't just appear out of nowhere. It's really an extension of a much older, much more foundational text called the I Ching, or the Book of Changes. The I Ching, which dates back like 3,000 years, created this whole system of 64 symbols, or hexagrams, to describe pretty much every possible situation in life. All the Tui Bei Tu did was apply that ancient system to try and predict the course of history.
And this system is unbelievably sophisticated. I mean, the hexagrams are built from just two kinds of lines, solid ones and broken ones, yang and yin. These work almost exactly like a binary system of ones and zeros. In fact, and this is the wild part, the German mathematician Leibniz, the guy who invented the binary code that all our computers use today, was totally fascinated by the I Ching. He saw his own modern invention reflected in this ancient text.
Okay, so before we all get carried away with prophecies and ancient codes, we have to pump the brakes and ask the big question. Is any of this for real? Because historians and scholars, well, they have some pretty solid reasons to be skeptical of the Tui Bei Tu's so-called powers.
And probably the biggest problem is this. We don't just have one Tui Bei Tu. We have at least 6 different historical versions floating around, and a lot of them completely contradict each other. I mean, if the source material itself can't agree, which one is supposed to be the real one?
Right, so scholars point out a few key issues. For one, a lot of these prophecies are so vague that you can make them fit almost any event after it's already happened. It's a classic case of fitting the evidence to your conclusion. Plus, the whole idea that it was written by these 2 famous Tang Dynasty scholars, that claim only showed up centuries after they were gone. It's pretty likely their famous names were just slapped on later to give the book a little more street cred.
So if the prophecies are probably not authentic, why on earth are they suddenly so important in the 21st century? The answer, it turns out, tells us way less about predicting the future and a whole lot more about understanding the present.
See, the real story here isn't about whether a coup is actually going to happen. It's about why so many people are turning to this ancient, cryptic text for answers right now. Its comeback, its modern popularity, is really a symptom of something much, much bigger.
At the end of the day, the Tuibei 2 has become this powerful political tool. Think about it. In an environment where you can't directly criticize the leadership, a prophecy gives you cover. You're not calling for anything bad. You're just discussing an ancient text. It's like a shared cultural code that lets people talk about forbidden subjects. And the fact that so many people are interested in it right now, that's a huge sign of deep public anxiety about where the country is headed.
Which leaves us with one last thought to chew on. Maybe the true power of prophecy isn't about actually telling us what's going to happen. Maybe it's about showing us what we secretly fear or maybe even hope is already happening. It's not really a map of the future. It's more like a mirror of the present.